Good morning, Carl Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show. Beautiful day here in Portugal, just looking out into the garden, a little bit blustery. I was trying to find, do you remember the old weather page we used to have? It won't load up for me. I'm going to have to, actually, that's my fault. I've got a couple of questions myself for you this morning on Ask Anything About Portugal Day. What is your favoured Portugal weather page? I did have a nice page set up with a load of weather widgets. Just takes so darn long to load up, though. And is pretty useless. So I'm going to get rid of that. So yeah, my first question to you on Ask Anything About Portugal Day Wednesday, that's what we do here midweek, is, what's your favourite weather app or a favourite way of finding out about the weather in Portugal? Probably some of you who aren't here who want to know what it's going to be like in a particular part. Struggling with my, like a Houdini, trying to get out away from my headphone cable here. You may not be here and you might want to research weather on particular parts of Portugal. What's your favorite weather app? Because I know many are on the market and available. And of course, those of you who do live here looking for a reliable weather forecast, apart from sticking your head out the window. That's what my weather forecast is this morning. Blustery, nice bright Portuguese sunshine. A little chilly in the air, but it's looking like one of those beautiful days. It's going to be pretty hot by lunchtime, within a couple of hours. The window of the door of the office is open onto the patio, and I can smell the Portuguese fragranced air, huge bees, or hopefully not hornets, but buzzing creatures are buzzing around, the birds are singing. It's a beautiful day, so do let me know how things are where you are. I'll get those questions coming in. Ask anything about Portugal. The hive mind that is the Portugal, Good Morning Portugal, Expats Portugal community will do their best to help you. I said I had two questions, didn't I? The other one of mine is, what is this brand of consumer goods in Portugal that is MI or Xiaomi or me? I went to Leiria, to the shopping centre yesterday. You'd think, wouldn't you, if I was going to Leiria, I might have a look around the town after Doc's lovely introduction to Leiria the other day. But no, we had to get a few things from the Celeiro health food shop. And so we went to the Leiria shopping. Drove over from Caldas straight into the shopping centre, into the car park, and back home again. Yes, real culture vultures, aren't we? But I have to say, and I've said it before, that shopping malls and shopping centres in Portugal are excellent, especially for chaps like me who don't really like shopping very much. The atmosphere was good. There weren't many people, as is usually the case, and that's what makes it a great shopping experience for me. Not many people, not very crowded, and none of those. The food court's great. Had a lovely Portugalia meal. Anyone else like the menu frango, which is a chicken filet if you're American, with some chips. You can have rice with that as well. You can have a salad. But there's this amazing butter sauce that they do. So I was tucking into that. The kids got wind of it and started dipping their chips in my butter sauce, and it wasn't my own thereafter. So, for the, you know how sometimes you can get a bit hyperglycemic when you're out shopping. The food courts of the Portuguese shopping malls are excellent, and you're never far away from a coffee, a pastry, or a good old chicken filet with a butter sauce. What's your favorite meal, you people who go to Portuguese shopping malls? Lots of questions for you. Yeah, so going back to my question, weather app. I need to know about a good Portuguese weather app. And this new store that I noticed, I look in there and I see phones, and I see smartwatches, and I see scooters, TV screens, and it's me. And then I look on the website, or a website. I don't even know if it's the right website. Things seem so complicated now, don't they? I saw that Debenhams, the department store in the UK, has gone out of business after, over 240 years, I think, of trading. You knew where you were with a department store, didn't you? The haberdashery, the food hall. If you wanted food, you go to the food hall. If you wanted haberdashery, you go to haberdashery department. If you needed a knitting pattern, not that I ever did. Things were kind of The clue is in the name. It's a department store. Things are organized in a departmental way. Nowadays, and I'm sounding really old now, aren't I? Shops sell other shops' stuff, don't they? So you go in, it's a Venn diagram, a retail Venn diagram, where everybody sells everything pretty much, don't they? You go to, I mean, Continent is in Leiria, a huge Continent store where you might as well shut the rest of the shopping mall down because everything is available in Continent. And so hence my confusion. I look into what is like a gadget shop or a phone shop. What's that about? Does anybody use those phones? Does anybody know what that brand is? Do please tell me in the comments. Let's go to those comments right now. How's everybody doing this morning? Lots of lovely comments. Milda first in. Quite often the case. Bon dia alegria from Milda. How are you this morning? Lion H. Now, sorry, I got mixed up yesterday. Yes, correction from yesterday. Sofian, it was my great pleasure to receive Sofian on the phone, who does Airbnb experiences, where somebody from Singapore and Malaysia, and who specializes and loves the Straits cookery. He talks about the spice routes, the Portuguese spice routes, and how the Portuguese went to Malacca in search of spices and stayed. They liked the locals, made relationships with the locals. One of the lesser known parts of Portuguese exploration, I would say. I think that's what he was saying yesterday. It was Sofian. And we talked about how the beef rendang, the rendang curry, would appear to be an export from Portugal, taken by the Portuguese explorers. They settled in Malacca, excuse me, and they created beautiful curry and other dishes. Not the laksa, my favorite, but that's a Chinese-inspired coconut flavored hot and sour soup of Singapore and Malaysia. But yeah, the Malaccan Portuguese hybrid. So I still might be confused here. And then I got his website mixed up with Lion H, who's here. So Lion H, let's put that straight this morning. Bom dia, desde Braga. So from Braga this morning. I'm thinking foodwineexperiences.com, which is the website I mixed up with Sofian yesterday, is Sir Lion H here. So tell us more about what you do, Sir Lion H, so that we can untangle that mystery from yesterday, from the Consumer Tuesday yesterday, when we were talking about loads of wonderful businesses, I have to say. And I do hope I didn't upset Jill Davis yesterday, making jokes about the Scottish accent. We will find out in due course. But what a lovely business idea she had, offering respite care for expats, English-speaking respite care service, which is a bit of a break for the family and a bit of a break for the person she'll be looking after as well. Stephen Wells is here this morning. I do need to slow down a bit. Breathe, Carl. Okay. Got a bit excited this morning. Bon dia from Stephen Wells. How are you, sir? Good to hear from you this morning. Excellent attendance record from Stephen Wells. Greetings from Harrogate. Not for long, though. Counting down hours to go. Fully jabbed and fully certified. Lols. Certified in what sense, I wonder, Paul? Yes. And the invasion that we spoke about on, let's see if I can bring up a fantastic photograph that was sent to me by wonderful taxi man Edmundo down there, who does transfers in the Algarve. He didn't think it was all it was cracked up to be, right? With the so-called invasion or swarm of British tourists, the 5,500 hasn't really materialized. I've heard stories of them actually going from landing in Faro Airport and driving straight to Spain. So it's not quite the invasion that was had in mind and drummed up by certain media sources that we spoke about on Monday. But here's a fantastic picture. Thank you, taxi man Edmundo, for this hilarious picture. Not taken by you, I hasten to add. But here is the invasion in the Algarve. This is from, I think, another transfer guy, Nuno, who has took, in Portuguese, a grande invasão do Algarve, an empty car park at Faro Airport there, from Nuno Miguel. And other news sources I'm hearing about, 26 people on a Ryanair flight coming into Faro. Although friend Simon arrived in Lisbon and the media, the press pack were there, and he got interviewed on. I saw him on Twitter. Actually, we're on Twitter. Good morning, Twitter. At Morning Portugal, if you are that way inclined. In the, I did get in trouble, I think, the other day for calling it the cesspit of humanity on Twitter. There, so far we've survived unscathed and uncriticised on Twitter. I'm not sure for how long that can continue. But Simon was on there being interviewed with his mask, observing all the right. Regulations, really, social distancing, mask wearing, etc. And I'll have more to say about that, about how you should approach the beach this summer, because the bathing season has officially started, and we'll talk about that. So, but where was I? Where was I going with all of that? Yeah, invasion didn't really amount to much. Paul is part of it and is counting down the hours. You may well be on a Ryanair flight with just 26 people. And I think is it true on Ryanair now? You can buy this, that, and the other. You get your nice cheap flight, and then you can buy a bottle of wine for £60, and it's only a miniature. Or you can buy a sandwich for 20 quid. I think you might be able to buy a PCR test from Michael now. Is it Michael O'Reilly who owns Ryanair there? So yes, bon voyage to you, Paul Richards. Bon voyage on your way here to Portugal. Hola, bon dia, alegria from Paul and Louise from here, just about central Portugal, Silver Coast to central UK there to you, Paul and Louise, at the kitchen table, no doubt there, perhaps with Lottie this morning. Bon dia, Antonio F says bon dia. Antonio F, always good value on a Wednesday. Ask anything about Portugal. He chips in, Joel chips in. The community here, the expats who've lived in Portugal chip in, like Gary Austin, who's here wishing Penny a happy birthday. I think she got a head start yesterday. Lovely looking bottle of Portuguese wine. Enjoyed at Rockfish, the Rockfish concession in Devon yesterday. So have a super day. Parabéns, je vous say to you, Penny. Have a beautiful day, and we'll continue your birthday celebrations tomorrow in the Wine Club. Mark Rigby is also here. Bon dia from a sunny Povoa de Vargem this morning. And David C, the lesser spotted David C, but great to have your company this morning, David C. Lion H, I usually open a window and look. Yeah, that's Lion H's. What a great name. Lion H's weather app is opening a window and having a look. Sometimes I don't even open a window. I use AccuWeather. Consistently good, says Mark Rigby. So I might have to have a look at that and share that with you on the screen. Bon dia thank you for that, Mark. Bon dia from Coleraine, Northern Ireland. On our way in November, with an exclamation mark there, denoting some excitement, I think, from William Ogilby. Good morning to you. Jordinja, hola, bon dia to you, Jordinja. How are you doing this morning? Using AccuWeather as well is Antonio F. Any questions this morning about Portugal? Come on, it's hashtag AAAP this morning. Ask anything about Portugal. My neighbour Jacqueline is here. Not that Jacqueline, this Jacqueline. Bon dia, Jacqueline Candeus de Mont. Beautiful sunshine on the Silver Coast. You absolutely love it here, don't you? I think you celebrate each and every day, Jacqueline. Lovely to receive your messages. Thank you very much indeed. Now, here's an unusual. Here's a change from seaweed. If the cat comes in wet, it's raining. If the cat comes in fluffy, it's windy. Very good. And I sincerely hope no cats were harmed in the making of your weather forecast this morning. William Ogilby, bon dia, bon dia. A double greeting from William this morning. Great. Carpenter bees. Oh, so that could be the buzzing, the big buzzes. There's a big buzz in the garden, and it may well be carpenter bees, say Paul or Louise and or both. Large and much darker in colour than honeybees. Carpenter bees. Called presumably because of how they are excellent at construction or something similar like that, I wonder. And I think Louise will tell us, or Paul will, why they're called carpenter bees. Looking forward to that mystery being solved. Not exactly Portuguese. Well, it is, isn't it? They are found here. So that may be a question that gets answered this morning. Gareth Makumski with the first question this morning. Are the markets in the towns well-priced places to get good food? Yes, and yes, Gareth. Great question. And it is, it's a really important part of Portuguese culture. And I have to say, it's a really important thing to support at the moment. These are the people who will have suffered most, I suspect, the small traders in Portugal during the pandemic year. At Leiria shopping yesterday, I was thinking to myself, not a single one of these shops looks like they've been affected. They've weathered the storm, haven't they? They're all big corporates. So it's not been such a big deal for them. It's been maybe in. I saw Sports Zone and the shutters were down. I thought, oh dear, there we go. That's what made me think of it. Who's been affected of the big chains in Portugal? Because for a shopping mall to function, and I think it is a condition of taking an outlet in a shopping mall, is you have to be open. You can't just not turn up if you don't feel like it. Like some of the small traders, they have lives to live, and they have to sometimes put a sign. If you live in Portugal, you'll be familiar with this. You rock up at maybe a phone shop or a wine shop, a local one, and it'll be fechado, back in a few minutes, or sorry, out on a job, or, sorry, it couldn't come in today, ring this number. And you can't do that if you're a concession in a shopping mall, obviously. But they look unaffected. They are big companies, and I guess they've got through this just fine. I don't think they furloughed their staff in Portugal. Not sure how it worked in Portugal, but unaffected, so it would seem, that the big chains in Portugal and the big chains in the shopping malls. So not so much the case, possibly, for your little market traders. And those my friends here, we talk to each other, and it's like, oh yeah, that lovely restaurant, that didn't make it. That shop didn't make it. And because these are marginal businesses, and it was very difficult for them to weather that particular economic storm. Well, it's still ongoing, isn't it? We still don't know the full effects of this as it rolls downhill, as it were. So please, Gareth, yes, the food at markets is well priced. Obviously, it will vary from stall to stall, but it is a good value place to buy fruit and veg and meat and fish and all the things you would expect from a local market. And most towns have them. Different day of the week. Sometimes you're talking about a Sunday market, which is pretty pleasant. Other times you're talking about a Monday market. It might be a Friday. It might be a Saturday. So it will vary. And what is that lovely book? Agua. I can't remember, but there is a book, a little printed book that looks like the Wisden Cricketing Almanac, that has all sorts of countrified information in it, including when the markets are on all around Portugal. And there are hundreds and thousands of them. It's a great country for the traditional market, and good food. Yeah, good local food, I would say. And that's as good and as local as food can get in this funny world that we live in, that's led mainly by price. So get in there, go to your local market, and get to know your favorite suppliers, because there'll be a pardon the pun, a few bad apples in there, of course, from time to time. That's life, that's business. But you'll get, you get to know your favorite traders, don't you? If you go on a regular basis, and they get to know you, and they won't want to cross you or mess you around with shoddy produce. They'll want to please you as a regular customer. So I would thoroughly recommend and say yes. And I would be grateful if anyone else's. Actually, yeah, in your town, tell us where you, obviously, yeah, tell us where you are, but tell us which day is market day. And is there still half day closing in your town? That quaint European custom of half day closing, is that still happening? But mainly for Gareth McCumsky's benefit this morning, your town and what day is market day, and yeah, give it a quick review. Is it any good where you are? That would be really helpful to Gareth and to me. Actually, I'd like to know. In Caldas de Rainha, of course, quite a big a city, basically, by Portuguese standards. The Praça de Frutas, the fruit and veg market. I saw a beautiful photograph of it the other day, an aerial photograph with the coloured canopies over all the fruit and veg markets. It looked absolutely beautiful. And I haven't been yet, but what a great place to go to the market. And yes, there are other markets in the town where you get your meat and fish and cheese and all the other things you would expect from a market. But Praça de Frutas in Caldas is a sight to behold, as I'm sure Jacqueline will tell us. So we have to differentiate Donna Jacqueline here from, we could call her Jacqueline CDM, couldn't we? That could work. So Jacqueline CDM, tell us about the markets in Caldas, if you will, as well as the Praça de Frutas there. Great question, Gareth. We're off the mark with Ask Anything About Portugal this morning. If you want to join me on the phone, as Sofiane did yesterday, you're very welcome. Or just shout things out in the comments. Get those questions in, and please get the answers in as well. How difficult is it to get a NIF now? They were sending me from one place to another, and you still didn't get it. Okay, let's help David C this morning. Going way, way back. Oh, there's a flying thing right in front of my face that's coming. Wah! Yes, you go to a financer's office to get your NIF number. It cost me 15 euros, I think, back in the day. So I imagine it's around that similar price. Get that info coming in, folks. you and your local finances, as well as your local market, what's your local finances like? Can you just rock up there and get yourself a NIF number fairly straightforwardly? And we should say, for anyone who doesn't know what a NIF number is, nothing to do with pongs and NIFs and smells. It is the numero. I don't know what the I stands for, but to do with finances. I expect the F is something to do with finances, but it's the contribuent that you get asked for, the contribuent number, your contribution number, around which everything revolves and evolves in Portugal. How many numbers is it made of? I'm going to remember mine off the top of my head. I'm not going to give it out on air. Maybe there'd be no danger. I mean, you shout it out in Lidl or every other shop, so people could be writing it down, but it's a 9-figure number is the NIF number. Let us know if your finances office is quiet, open, and available, where David C might be able to get a NIF number without too much trouble. Sounds like he's having a run around at the moment. Where are you, David C? And where is everybody else? And what is their finances office like? It was a very straightforward process for us, actually, in Alcobaça. Back in the day. So Alcobaça office is a small one. Obviously, don't go at lunchtime. Go in the morning or near the end of the day. Great time to get good service in a Portuguese bureaucratic office when they want to go home and they want you to go home. Get in before the doors close at the allotted time of 4:30 or whenever it is. But then there'll be a little queue after the doors have closed. You'll be in that and they'll want to get home and they'll want to give you your NIF number pronto. So yes, everybody, your finances office, what's it like? Can we help David C this morning? Antonio and Stephen having a chat. That's nice to see in the comments. Good morning, people, from head gardener Lee McGrady, who is the font of all knowledge and wisdom, horticultural. And if he doesn't know, he'll find out. And he's very busy in our Happy Homesteaders and Get Out and Grow group on Facebook too. Thank you for all you do, Lee. Very busy man at the moment, obviously. Doesn't need to advertise. All word of mouth for him because he's good at what he does. And I think he's chock-a-block with orders and regular clients. Good for you, Lee. Nice to see a business that's booming at the moment. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Michelle Castro Vieira, answering my questions this morning. See, I have questions as well. Xiaomi is a major Chinese IT brand, and they make excellent phones at great prices, as well as all their other tech goodies. I thought as much. So they are a contender in that space, are they? In the gadget space, as it were. And they are Chinese, and they're making their way into the shopping malls, it would seem. So Xiaomi is the company. And, fantastic. We are being deluged now by comments and suggestions. That's fantastic. And I see a dad joke in there somewhere. Stick around for that. Make sure you do. Michelle goes on to say, so Xiaomi is the major Chinese IT brand. I would have known this years ago. I'd have my finger on a technological pulse, but a bit out of touch and a little bit confused at times by these multiple offerings of different shops and brands. Mi is their model name, as in Mi 9 phone, etc. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's symptomatic of our age, isn't it? And the Apple iPhone, perhaps a little bit of a joust towards the I movement and the I phenomenon of Apple, and they've gone from I to me, MI. There is no I in team, but there is in me when it comes to that Chinese brand anyway. Bon dia. Actually, yes, random question of the day. What is your favorite motivational quote? I just slipped one into the conversation there to know there's no I in team. These great posters that there used to be in offices. Do you have a favorite one of those? And I'm open to the spoof ones as well this morning. Motivational quotes. Many a mickle makes a muckle, that sort of thing. But no, that isn't a motivational quote, but you know what I'm getting at. Anna, good morning to you. Bon dia from Stockholm this morning. A sunny summer day here. Beautiful. A treat with ice cream and raspberries from Portugal coming up. How does that work in then? Have you had some Portuguese ice cream, some gelado sent over? Quick sip of tea here. I'm just going to mute the mic so you don't hear me slur. Oh, Mrs. M, best cup of tea I've had all day. First one, actually. Wee Wow is my... Are you winding me up here, M. McGowan? Wee Wow. That sounds like it could be in the Shiwi department, that. But okay, I'll go with that. Wee Wow. I have to write that down, actually, otherwise I'll forget it. Have you ever tried to find a comment in our comment thread later on? Impossible. So I've written that down there. Wee Wow and Acu as well. Thank you for that, M. McGowan. Are you pleased with it? That's the other question. It's got a good name. Is it good? I use their phones and a Fitbit alternative. We're talking about Xiaomi again, the Mi Band from the Mi brand, which costs 40 quid rather than a couple of hundred, which is actually better. Okay, I think I might go and have a look at that for my next phone. I don't really want to be spending loads of money on phones anymore. Never really did, but didn't know I had much of a choice. That's good to know, because I know is it the One phone? The Chinese dual SIM phone, very good value as well, and nicely designed, nicely made. Just goes to show you don't have to be spending hundreds and thousands. I mean, you can buy a phone in Portugal, certainly, and I imagine the prices aren't very different in the UK, where I'm from, or in the United States. Why on earth would you buy something that's a 4-figure purchase and then carry it around in your back pocket and sit on it and crack the screen? It's really weird, isn't it? The things that people carry around now. If you think about a young person's backpack with maybe an Apple laptop in there and an Apple phone and a Fitbit or whatever that is, carrying that around and this, that, and the other in there, they've got like maybe 2 grand's worth of tech that they're carrying around with them. Wouldn't have happened in my day. Bon dia from Caldas de Rainha, from Joe K as well. Joe, I think we've got a bit of a Caldas meetup possibly on the cards here, haven't we? Of Expats Portugal folks. Looking good for a Silver Coast meetup at some point. Now we can do that. Good morning to you, Joe. Good morning, everyone from Gemini Bradshaw as well. Vindaloo, yes, we talked about this yesterday, Andrew, actually, but it's no harm in mentioning it again. Vindaloo, I think probably had an H in it, didn't it? Vindaloo is Portuguese, the traditional version at least, not the muscle food in the UK. I like that. Not heard that before. Muscle food, yes. Men and probably some women who feel the need to burn themselves whilst eating. That's a funny old habit, isn't it? A bit sadomasochistic, if you ask me. I guess it's a different kind of enjoyment, isn't it, when you're feeling that burn while you're eating. The chili burn. Ian's here as well. Thank you, Andrea. Ian here, Ian Turner. Hola, bon dia todos. Still raining here in the UK, but out walking to the coffee shop, putting thinking cap on to dream up a pithy question. He's getting pithy over there. Morning to you, Ian. Glad to have your company this morning. Michelle Castroviera, correct on all counts. Good phones, good value. Well, I'm delighted to have discovered that. I will venture in. I didn't go in because I don't need a scooter, or do I? Maybe that could be good. Maybe I can cut a dash in the village with an electric scooter. But yes, I'm going to go in there next time and have a little bit of a look. I'm also needing to replace the screen, yes, on my Galaxy. Is this Samsung Galaxy phone? Yeah, that I got because I had to spend some money. If you remember rightly, I needed to spend some money with Vodafone because they insist that you do contractually. And I got myself a really nice Samsung phone actually, but I've cracked the screen. What are you paying, folks, for screen replacement? And have you got a good person? I did see somebody in the Leiria shopping centre yesterday where they change cracked screens. But for that sort of thing, I'm looking for a personal recommendation. I'm not just going to walk in off the street just to any old Tom, Dick or Harry. What is the Portuguese equivalent of Tom, Dick or Harry? I guess it's going to be something like Rui, João, and who else might be in that mix? You tell me the Portuguese equivalent of Tom, Dick and Harry, please. And any other Portuguese idioms that are always great to learn and know. Hi, I have a question. What online I cannot find so easy I can manage to put one no-profit association together in Portugal? Okay, I've got the gist of that, Michelle. You want to put a non-profit association together. From my point of view, I haven't done it, but I do know of a good lawyer that we work with. That will be Daniel Reis of Reis and Pelicano, who will be able to help with either doing that or pointing you in the right direction. Okay. The other place, of course, to ask. I mean, you'll find Daniel in our business directory under legal. Obviously, we had a quick look through the business directory yesterday. expatsportugal.com/business-directory, and lots of all the other beneficial things that you can discover there within the directory and get a discount on, of course, if you're a premium member. But also, whilst you're there, go on the forum, see if anyone else has put together a non-profit. I know that, yes, the lovely lady who put together the Alerta system down in, it's Man. Is it Mandy or Debbie? Forgive me. But there are expats here who've put a non-profit together. not so much the CIC that you might be familiar with, Community Interest Company, more the traditional Portuguese association that is a non-profit that is doing good work within a community. So Michelle Padova, please go to the Expats Portugal forum, pop that in there. Just ask the question, who set up an association in Portugal? What's the best way to do it? Weave the story. This is Sofiane. Thanks for the mention. We got things a bit mixed up, but all good. Thanks, Sir Lion H, for the mention. Yeah, so I put 2 excellent food initiatives together yesterday. I want to try them both. I do want to try some of that Straits food with Sofiane, who I think will join us tomorrow, because we have somebody who originates from Singapore, who's been in Portugal for a couple of decades now. That will be Chitra Stern, who's joining us tomorrow from Martinhal, the Martinhal Group, and the international school that she has also started in the Park of Nations area of Lisbon. My guest tomorrow on Places and Spaces. She has some beautiful places and spaces in the shape of beautiful apartments and resorts, and we'll be talking to her tomorrow about her remarkable entrepreneurial story here on the Good Morning Portugal show, and her life. I mean, she's raised a family and raised businesses here in Portugal in these last, she's been here, I think, 20 years, and the Martinhal thing began, the Martinhal empire really began 10 years ago, I believe, and we'll find out more about that tomorrow with Chitra, who's from Singapore, who I think would love your food, Sofiane. Thanks, Celine H, for the mention. So those two might be working together, Sofiane in Lisbon and Celine H up there in Braga. Must visit places, both of them, obviously. Penny's here. Bon birthday dia. Parabéns. Feliz aniversario. The sun is shining and I've been playing music when I'm 64. How did that happen? Wow, Penny. Actually 64 today. A very happy birthday to you. And as I say, we'll continue our celebrations tomorrow with a nice bottle of red. Should be Prosecco, shouldn't it? But maybe it's dangerous to have Prosecco every week. We sail close to the wind whenever I drink Prosecco live on YouTube. So perhaps it's a good idea it's a red tomorrow. But maybe we'll do both, shall we? It's your birthday. Have a great day, Penny. Sounds like the celebration started yesterday and will continue. Fantastic. Lots of love to you from our family to yours. Today's dad joke question: how do you keep an idiot in suspense? The old ones are the oldest. Thank you for that, Gary. Not expecting an answer to that anytime soon. In just over 2 weeks, says Gareth McCumsky, 6 of us fly from South Africa to Portugal, then go straight into quarantine for 2 weeks. Been planning this move for 2 years. Yeah, and that's changed, isn't it, since you've been planning? Who would have foreseen what would have happened, Gareth, 2 years ago? And probably the extra spending you've got to do. 6 of you doing testing there. That's going to be expensive, isn't it? Sorry to even mention it. But yeah, how your plans must have changed in these last 2 years. Incredible. But it sounds like you're not letting little things get in your way. So bon voyage to you as well, Gareth, and the McCumsky clan who are heading this way from South Africa. Tell us more, actually. Be interesting to hear about your story. We do know, obviously, of South Africans making their way to Portugal, but not too often. So what else has happened on your journey? What's been interesting from your point of view coming from South Africa? It'd be good to know. Yes, and definitely get yourselves to a market after your 2 weeks of quarantine. Good morning, everyone, from a sunny Torres Vedras. Must go there. I think we might have driven through there, but must go to Torres Vedras. When is market day, Susan? Do let us know. Off to UK today to see my family. Yay! So happy to be going the other way, is Susan this morning from Torres Vedras. Lion H, I am Portuguese and we do food tours in Braga. Yes, that's going on the list. Workshops to learn how to cook Portuguese food. Yes. Wines. Yes. Olive oil tasting events, yes. Organising meetings, dinners, birthday parties, and selling food boxes. Did show those on the screen yesterday, didn't I? And they mighty fine they look too, with some Portuguese cheese in there and wine and olive oil, I suspect. So, Lion H, what's behind your name there? This is the day of questions, so I'm asking that one as well. Quite a lot of questions from me this morning. The story, weave the story. Welcome, Sofiane. So maybe there's an alliance there. That's becoming part of a national food tour, isn't it? Stop off with Sofiane for some Portuguese-inspired Far Eastern food in Lisbon, and then on your way, either one way or the other, either north to south or south to north. But when in Braga, visit Sir Lion H and enjoy a tour with Sir Lion H there. Amazing. Tell us more though, Sir Lion, which is an anagram of sirloin as well. Does that come into your food tour? Gary Austin, by posting an incomplete joke, maybe. Yep. Thanks for the dad joke, Gary. Dad joke du jour, courtesy of Gary Austin, a specialist in these things. Bon dia from a sunny London, from Rui Diash. Good morning to you, Rui. First time on the show, possibly, maybe once or twice before, but excellent to have your company. Question, is it true Portuguese women drive in the middle of the road? Oh dear, I think this is possibly a little bit... Paul is obviously getting giddy, isn't he, about being back in Portugal very soon. So giddy, in fact, that he's throwing in one of those comments that you just chuck into the comments and walk away whistling nonchalantly and just leave a mess behind you. But we'll ask it anyway, so it can be refuted, denied, or, I don't know, the basis of some legal action. Is it true Portuguese women drive in the middle of the road? Is it part of the driving test to see how close to the car in front they can get? I don't think that's necessarily a sexist comment. That applies to both genders, does it not? Oh dear, getting myself into trouble with that as well. But a well-known fact, is it not, that the character and personality of the Portuguese people that we love is subject to change once behind a steering wheel. And actually, from my own experience, I have to say that the road rage incidents that I have been on the receiving end of, not many, but I think it's a couple. They've both been women who've given me a good old mouthful, actually. What do other people think about that? Yes, that was probably the best thing to do there. Say, what do other people think about that? Thank you, Paul, for that troublemaking question of yours. Birthday greetings, bottle of wine to the very lovely Penny. Hoping you have a fantastic day from Victoria in Atlanta, Georgia. How's the weather over there this morning, Victoria? How are your plans coming on? Joel, bon dia. What is market day in Matosinhos? Are the markets good in Matosinhos? And you can bet your bottom euro that Joel will be singing the praises of the markets in Matosinhos in due course in the comments here. Hey, hold on a minute. Shoot me a message for an accurate reading. Or an accurate Reading. Is Susan going to the UK to Reading? Babalawo Ifakunmi Upayemi. Do forgive me, struggling with the pronunciation there. But ease up on the spamming in the comments. You're very welcome here. But I think that's the beginnings of a message which might cure you of every possible ill that might afflict anyone ever in the world. So we might have to delete some of those in a moment. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. It gives me great pleasure. I've got two choices here. I can block the user or delete the comment. I think we're going to have to say goodbye to Babalawo for being completely off topic. Goodbye. Greetings to all from the Douro River this fine day. Now, there's a lucky couple. Ernest and Rizal Furtado up. They have been around the Porto area. And now, are you still in the city, or are you upriver? Because that is one. I mean, talking of things to put on the list for Portugal, we have got to do an Expats Portugal river cruise one of these days, haven't we? What fun will that be? Us drinking Douro wine on a river cruise. We've got to have a disco, haven't we, as well? I think we can have so much fun with an Expats Portugal river cruise on the Douro. I am so looking forward to that, and I wish you a great day up there in that part of the world, that legendary part of Portugal. Ernest and Rizal this morning, the Furtados. They carve their nests into timber. There you go. That's the carpenter bees. Excellent value. This is the Q&A day here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Wednesdays, Ask Anything About Portugal. We found out that maybe carpenter bees are quite noisy and they carve their nests into timber. That's why they're called carpenter bees. I thought it might be something like that. Babalawa, you have been busy among the comments there, but not anymore. Gotcha. Hola, bon dia, friends. Hank Stalica is in the house in California. Good morning to you, Hank. Lovely to have your company. Bon dia, Pashol de Londres, Hakeem. Hey, Colin Richardson and Hakeem over there. How you doing? Lovely to have your company. And Rachel K. Yes, I was going to guess at Borda de Agua. Did I call it Agua something? Yeah, Borda de Agua is the little pamphlet booklet that you can buy. It turns up in the most interesting of places, doesn't it? I mean, you'll get it from a kiosk, from a news kiosk. And where did I buy mine from? Probably from a market stall itself. But yeah, lots of interesting information, and obviously a great way to learn Portuguese, because obviously it's in Portuguese, telling you about all the markets around the country. Thank you, Rachel K, for that. So back to Sir Lion H. and unraveling or untangling the mystery I created yesterday, confusing two businesses. But always support small producers and, always support small producers and stores, says Sir Lion. They are the ones who got hit very bad with COVID and confinement. Absolutely right. We can't make that point well enough or urge you strongly enough to support the small producers and stores. And we know what it's like. We live in the age of convenience. There's me driving to Leria, shopping in the belly of the beast, giving all the money to all the corporates. Solero, I suppose, would be in that. Although, there are some things that we can't find so easily in the health area, in the sort of complementary natural health area, that Solero are always good for. And then inevitably you find yourself wandering into, some of the other stores there. But whenever possible, and I'm going to make it my business to get into Caldash and the surrounding towns and villages and support the local stores, as you suggest there, Sir Lion. Any tips for me, actually, new to Caldash, of local stores that I should be supporting? Bang them in the comments or email me, as you can see, Carl at expatsportugal.com. Bon dia, alegria a todos de California from TP Larson. Are there hummingbirds in Portugal? Not seen one myself. If there would be, I imagine they would be down south in the Algarve. Anyone can confirm or deny that there are hummingbirds in Portugal? Fabulous bird life here in Portugal. And also, talking of things that grace the air, it was beautiful the other evening to take the kids out. Well, I said to my daughter, Minnie, would you like to go out? Because I just clocked some fireflies. Now, I need some help here, actually, from the wildlife experts. What I'm looking at, fireflies, they're not the same as glowworms, are they? But let's go with fireflies for the time being. Anything that can light up its rear end, what is it called? It's particularly the things that we see in Portugal. I know Gary and Paul don't even go there, but things that can create their own little LED light in their abdomen, a miracle of nature. Come on. So I saw one at the corner of my eye as I was coming in, I think, from the garden. So I said to daughter Minnie, because I'd taken eldest Digby up down the country lane to send a video of fireflies to his pal whose birthday it was. And I thought, okay, I've got to take Minnie to see the fireflies. And I said, do you want to come out and see the fairies in the garden? Because I could see a few on the lawn. And I knew it was going to get better as it got darker. And turns out everyone in their pajamas, dressing gowns on, out in the garden, sat on the garden wall looking at this beautiful scene of fireflies. So I can't help with hummingbirds, TP Larson, but I have to say, a treat lies in store for you of wonderment and miraculous awesomeness to see pretty much a swarm of fireflies of an evening. I don't know if it's the time of year, this part of the country. First time I saw them was in central Portugal, and it was magical then, some years ago. But to be able to get the kids out in the garden when it's gone dark before bedtime and show them the firefly fairy show, and they're very, very tame and easy to manage. I think one landed on one of the kids' hands, absolutely magical, and they're flashing on and off. The fairy lights of nature was absolutely beautiful. But can anyone help? Are there hummingbirds in Portugal? I hope my little elderly man who sells oranges and fruit at the side of the road in the Algarve is still there. He's waiting for you, I hope, Paul, when you return. Sounds like one of the first things you're going to be doing. Jacqueline CDM, yes, we have carpenter bees. Not good to have around, apparently. I'd love to know how to divert them. That's a nice way of dealing with it. Diversion. Rather than insecticide. I can hear them munching on the wooden beams. Yes, I said munching. Oh, I see. So no wonder you want to divert them. My goodness, they sound like they have very big teeth. Wow, that sounds a bit terrifying. Another side of Portuguese nature there. Not your romantic fireflies, but the carpenter bees munching their way through your beams. Yikes. Planning on living near Lille is Gareth McCumpsky. That is, you have a fabulous market. And it's Saturday, as I recall. I remember recording a podcast in Lille Market, and the atmosphere in there was beautiful. Purpose-built. It's surrounded by hotels. We stayed in a hotel overlooking the market there. Lille is a beautiful town, fantastic market, inside and out on the streets, little lanes full of the stores, selling plants and so on outside. You will not be disappointed. Saturday mornings for you there, Gareth McCumpsky and family, going into Lille at least. I mean, you might be out in the sticks somewhere and closer to another market, but Lille you will love, and that is a beautiful market to go to. Good choice, sir. Looking to buy our plane tickets, just waiting for the Portuguese government to give us the go-ahead, says Hank Stelica. Has anybody got any intel on that? Because the American government must be looking at Europe and thinking, okay, looks like it's notwithstanding Indian variants, looks like they're moving freely over there. But also, I guess that you could take that the other way. Sorry, do forgive me. I need another sip of tea in a minute. But yes, who knows how the American government thinks and what criteria they'll be using. Hank, are they doing data or dates? What's the situation with the American government in opening up travel to the rest of the world? Certainly, and hopefully better than the Australian attitude on these matters. But let us know, Americans, what are the American government waiting for? Data, dates, or something else? I like that Cal Dashterenia have a market every day. Yeah, the Praça da Frutas is every day, isn't it? Louise, good morning to you. I believe that Lille Market is every day. Okay, so yeah, forgive me. I was there on a Saturday. So I assumed it was a Saturday market. So you're right. It's probably every day. It's a big enough town to be on every day. Yes. So forgive me. I jumped to an incorrect conclusion there. Just because I was there on a Saturday doesn't mean that's the only day it opens. Yes. But my earlier comment stands. It is a beautiful market. Really, really nice and a beautiful town. Municipal web pages have the times of markets in their municipality, says Rachel K. Really enjoying listening today. I'm so glad, Rachel, and grateful for your comments. You know, this is the hive mind at work on asking anything about Portugal, people helping people. That's how we roll at Expats Portugal. When looking at properties for sale online, I often see the term or description of something for sale as fifth. Does anybody know what that means? And whenever the P word is mentioned, property, I am duty bound to put this upon your screen. Colin, if Colin doesn't know that, he will find out for you. He is our man who is spearheading our new real estate search service, also findable on expatsportugal.com. I don't know what that is. Maybe we will find out in just a moment. But Colin, I'm going to ask Colin that. If he's not watching this morning, I will make it my business to ask him that myself. So another thing to write down, fifth, what does that mean in relation to property? Thank you, Mark, over there in Australia. Excellent question. At the local market here in Anadia, someone chucked in some free veg. You don't want them doing that with eggs, do you? In Anadia, chucked in some free veg along with an explanation of what to do with it. You know what you can do with your cuvee. Yes, that's a lovely touch as well, isn't it? You buy a big bag of fruit and veg, and very likely someone will give you something extra and say, yeah, you might want to saute that in a bit of olive oil and some Portuguese sea salt. Lovely. Anadia Market. That is a Saturday, is it not, Louise? Louise will let us know. And yes, I was clearly struggling with what NIF stood for. So here we go. Número de Identificación Fiscal. It's all about the fiscal, and everything starts with a NIF number here in Portugal. Anything to do with money and commerce and trading and taxation, most notably. 9 numbers in a NIF there. And also, yeah, if you are part of the contribent system, you stand the chance of winning a car, I think, or lots of money every month. I've just refreshed my page, and we have loads of questions to get through, which I'm delighted to say. Portugal has the lowest infection rate of any EU country. I think it may be the EU that is preventing holidaymakers from some third countries. Not sure about permanent movers. Thank you, Mark, for that. Just going to have a sip of tea. Buy a glass, that's good. Right, CDM here. I think she likes that. Great market in Caldash. Grab a coffee at the kiosk whilst there too. I hear they do a great sandwich. Ottimo, says, full of excellent superlatives this morning, Jacqueline CDM. That's fantastic. Really looking forward to that. Fiona, but I can't get there. Maybe what I need to do is an outside broadcast one morning from there. That's the way to do it, isn't it? That's the way to get to the market early and actually do this show from the market, from the Praça itself. Yes. Bon dia, Carl. Blue sky in Derbyshire, making the most of it is Fiona and Simon Wright there in beautiful Derbyshire. Love Derbyshire. Thank you, Sylvia, for breaking down the abbreviation as well. Financio identification number and English translation there. Fantastic. Xiaomi, I actually use their products. They have their hands on everything from mobile phones, smart vacuums, TVs, even electric cars. Got to talk to Donna Jacqueline more about. She's got one of those smart vacuums. I mean, it is pretty smart if you can get a machine to do it, right? I'm in Faro. The guy in the finances office won't help, says David C. Just refers me to do it online, but I can't. All you need to have as you to get your NIF, you need a NIF, a madness, like in the movie Brazil, right? Okay, bureaucratic madness. David C is in the Algarve. Anyone else in the Algarve who can help with a more friendly finances office who won't send him mad? Please, let's help David C this morning. Question: planning permission. We've been waiting 8 months for planning permission to be granted for a modest extension. Any tips making things move? I'm going to leave that hanging there for the moment. But yes, I'm sure. I mean, constantly asking. And the problem you've got, I think, I've got more questions than anyone else this morning. What is it about email in Portugal? People don't respond that quickly, if at all, sometimes to email. You might be better off phoning, Hannah, if you haven't done that already. That might be it. I think people have actually written off their email. Can you imagine being a bureaucrat in Portugal in these last 12 months? And, many of us have untidy inboxes. I used to pride myself on not having anything unread in my email. I mean, that is such an old-fashioned thought now, isn't it? That's from the age of quills and inkwells, isn't it, really? Now, and like everyone, I think you just end up with loads of email and things get lost. And if you scale that up to being a public official in Portugal, they must be having an amnesty or a write-off situation where they think, okay, I'm just not looking at anything that came in longer than 2 days ago. So my suggestion there, Hannah, actually, I'm not going to leave it hanging, I'm going to deal with it, would be to phone. As hard as that might be, I think phoning is what gets the job done here, over and above email, particularly given the situation. What's happening to my voice this morning? Excuse me. Given the situation of everyone else emailing and the absolute mountain of emails that a lot of officials will have, that would be my suggestion. Call or get someone to call for you, and make and push it by phone rather than by email. I think that's the way to go for it. So yes, fiscal rather than financial identification number. NIF. Their car is still to. Oh, Xiaomi are launching a car as well, but they already have a prototype, so the electric car from them as well. Incredible. How are you on this fine day? Well, a little bit croaky and a bit of a frog in the throat. A bit of a is that a sapo, Portuguese for frog? A circus, Mr. Circus School this morning. So to answer your question, but otherwise, excellent. Looking out at the Portuguese sun and the blue sky and the canna plants up on the horizon there. I used to think it was bamboo, but I think it's something called canna, which is used for bedding for animals, apparently. Yes, Silver Coast meet and greet will be great, says Joe K. Fantastic. So I think Jacqueline, CDM, and Joe K may well be up for that. I am too. Try and contact them by email. Yeah, says Antonio F., but just notwithstanding what I just said. Quote, did ask you for motivational quotes. To know the devil, you have to have danced with him a few times. So the next time he shows up at the party, you recognize him. Yes, learning by experience, as us human beings have to do. Thank you for that, Gary. Bon dia. We will be there this time next week. Can't wait. Hello, John. Good morning to you. And yeah, looking forward to having your vibes and energy in the country. Good morning to you both. How about the Rex Bar Obidos for a meetup? Just 10 minutes from Caldash, loads of outdoor space and parking right next to it. Where is it, Louise? Drove up to Obidos the other day. Simon Gotto, who we've had on the show, says, yeah, we're near the big car park. I couldn't see him. So can you let everyone know this morning, if you go into the tourist car park, can you see the Rex Bar from there? But a good suggestion for a meetup. Fifth is a poor translation of Quinta. There you go. Should have known that. Of course, Quinta, as in Quinta Feira, fifth day. Quinta, as in a small holding or farm, probably originally a fifth of something or other. Not fifth of an acre, but you know what I mean. A land portion or an allotment of a certain kind. Fifth means, there you go. That's fantastic for Mark from Paul and Louise. A Quinta style, a small holding or farm style of building plot. Great to have answered that. Thank you, Paul and Louise. You're not a real YouTuber until you're vlogging down a road on a one wheel or a scooter. Okay, I'm going to take that as a challenge. Calling me not an authentic Insta and YouTuber influencer. I would like to think I'm probably one of the oldest influencers in the game there, Stephen Wells. How very dare you? So I'm obviously going to have to get myself a unicycle or an electric scooter and present a show from it. What could possibly go wrong? Me crashing into the Praça de Frutas, knocking over a big load of fruit, James Bond style, on an electric scooter. They won't mind that, will they, if it's putting up my numbers on YouTube? Is it possible to set up a search on Good Morning Portugal YouTube? Oh, yeah. This is the problem of the absolute feast of content, is it, Mark? What is it you're trying to find? Best thing might be to ask me. Are you looking for that? That day that someone called in. Yeah, I know. I mean, I could spend a lot of my life putting chapters on all the videos and everything. I know I don't do it in the best possible way. I am on a course, however, to learn how to use YouTube correctly. Any tips from anyone, gratefully received. But let me know more about what you're looking for there, Mark. What's behind that question? Hola from the Middle East, from Arup Roy. Post SCF appointment, how long do they take to issue residency permits? I can't give you an accurate reply on that. Anyone else who's applied from the Middle East, they're the best people to ask, aren't they? Anyone else listening this morning who can answer Arup this morning? Do we need to collect it physically, or our lawyer can collect it on our behalf in our absence? Okay. I'm not sure personally, but hopefully somebody else in the comments will be able to help you there. Arup Roy. Hello from Barat Sawant. Good morning to you, Barat. Joe K. Rex Bar Obidosh sounds great. Let's pick a date time in the future. Simon will be glad of that as well. Might be maybe fish and chip day. Parabéns, and he might lay on a bit of maybe a buffet and booze sort of ticket. All in, maybe. If you're watching, that sounds great. Obidosh is beautiful, isn't it? Thanks for that suggestion, Joe. Parabéns, Benny from Paul and Louise. Parabéns, Benny from Ian. This is how far the comments are going back. Come on, Carl, catch up. Ask anything about Portugal. Hashtag any tips to ensure a fast and consistent internet connection whilst being digital nomads for a month in August. Probably needs to be fiber rather than mobile. I'm wondering though, Jordan, how can you, if you're a nomad, how can you have a fiber connection? Are you talking about making in the place that you've got for a month, or are you on the move for that month? I mean, if you go to a nomad retreat, the likes of which I was sharing yesterday, they obviously, their lives and livelihoods depend on fast connections. But fiber is the right question and the right factor to be including in your search there. You're never far away from a good or free connection in Portugal, it has to be said. So worst case scenario is that you just pop out and go to a local hostelry and drink coffee all day. And that can add to your productivity, of course. But yeah, tell us more. Are you on the move, or are you looking for a flat that's got fiber or an apartment? Tell me more about someone. I want to open a company in Portugal. Can anyone help? Can you suggest any lawyer? Yes, I'll refer you to Daniel Reyes of Reyes and Pelicana. Let me just spark up the biz directory, and I'll give you a direct link to Daniel. A great starting point, and I'll stick that in the comments for you there. But Parabéns Penny from Sir Lion H as well. Happy birthday, Peggy 2 from Paul. We're in town Thursday night. We'll contact you for a meetup. How lovely. Oh, no, it's Penny, not Peggy. But I tell you what, if you're offering to buy Peggy a drink, I'm sure she'll be happy to pretend it's her birthday. And that sounds lovely. Expats Portugal folk, Good Morning Portugal folk meeting up there. So yeah, it's Penny's birthday, not Peggy's birthday. Actually, we need to do 2 tests, one 72 hours before departure and the other at the airport before boarding. Even my 2-year-old needs to take it. Wow, Gareth, how much is that costing you for a group of 6 to do all of that? Finally booked to come over to see our new house in a couple of weeks. Well done, Bob. Can't wait to see it and the little village we will soon be part of. Yes, I think, is that right, that you bought off the web, if I remember correctly? Tell us more, and how exciting must that be? Why don't you video yourself seeing it for the first time so that we can play it on the morning show here? Do a little WhatsApp video. I'd love to share that with people. Hi from Alvazara from log 45. Gareth Mukomsky. On advantage, the long wait. One advantage of the long wait has given us that we pretty much know everything there is to know just from YouTube videos. Yes, an absolute asset to anyone else coming. Maybe you should join our Ask Our Expats team. And share that knowledge and everything you've learned in the last couple of years, Gareth. And actually, you would be great to help people coming from South Africa. That's real specialist knowledge, isn't it? It's a shame that everyone has attached the South African variant of the virus, attached it as where it comes from, rather than only where it was discovered. Yes, this happens, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. Yes, the branding of viruses has caused a lot of trouble, hasn't it? Celine H is an old internet nickname from the hashtag MIRC time. I don't know what that is either. What is the hashtag MIRC time? Perhaps Sir Lionheart is called Richard. Could be. Ian Turner, question, not that pithy. We have a villa booked in Luge in the Algarve in February. What are the best things to do in that part of the world at that time of year? February, Luge, what's the best thing to do? Thank you, Ian. Gary, the first person to open a driving school in Portugal was Evil Knievel. All right. Sylvia dos Santos, bom dia from a raining Netherlands this morning. So looking forward to celebrate my birthday in Portugal next week. Yes, parabéns in advance. Aruca pedestrian bridge is open and here I come. That's a birthday treat. I wonder if they allow you to pop a bottle of fizz. Maybe it's too dangerous. No, it's Portugal. That'll be fine, actually. Can you imagine that? Popping a cork off the Aruca pedestrian suspension bridge, one of the longest in the world, I believe. Feira de Costas, Saturday. That's the main one. Matosinhos Markets. Gareth Makumsky, thanks, Joe. That is a great point. Goes for all the variants, doesn't it? Yeah. Shouldn't we be thanking the places the variants are named after for identifying them? Yes, there's a new take on it. Jim White, bon dia from Maryland. Good morning to you, Jim. We are trying to buy from the smaller stores in the UK as they've been hit hard here as well. Well done, Ian. Municipal Market. Torres Vedras, undercover, Tuesday to Sunday. It's excellent. Local produce and crafts once a month. This is great. Thanks for that. Torres Vedras, when it returns post-COVID, stalls all around the little narrow pedestrian streets, well worth a visit. Torres Vedras, there you go. Undercover, Tuesday to Sunday. Bioluminescence, that is the technical term for fireflies. Thank you, Gary. No hummingbirds, but there are hummingbird moths, which are amazing. They hover and feed on nectar in the same way, says Rachel K. Marvelous. Peter Bleach, sounds absolutely fabulous. Fireflies car. It was beautiful, Pete. We have a resident lizard in the living room and a mongoose on the drive. Honey, we bought a zoo. That's great, Pete. Looking forward to the vids. Late to an interesting show, Carl. Oh, Colin Ross, did you hear? Oh, we've already answered the question that I was going to ask you, Colin. Yeah, why do you get the translation of fifth? It is Quinta, of course, on property listings. Yes, Colin, great to have you here. I'm sure you can help us for the rest of the show. Portugal has quarantine restrictions for people coming from here. When we have the lower COVID rates than a lot of the EU countries allowed full access. But oh well, there's no sense to it, is there? When you look at it, when you analyze what's going on, it's chaos. Governments are making their best guesses. They're panicking. They are saying at some points, what the hell? Open up. It is a mess. It can't be described as anything else, can it? We do have hummingbirds. Hummingbird hawk moth, says Gary. Yes, adding to the earlier comment. Thanks, Gary. Colin, still looking for a pad. Oh, okay. So Paul needs Colin's help on the property search there. So yes, I could say, couldn't I? Get a house, you two. Bon dia, everyone. Great show as always. Thanks, Capricorn 12. Great way to start the morning, especially all of us that can't be in Portugal at the moment. We always support good independent operators on every visit. Thanks, Capricorn 12. It really makes a difference. It may not be obvious and immediate, but we know, don't we? It really makes a difference. We bought our plane ticket, says Gareth, but the only reason we can go is the rest of the fam has Italian, i.e. EU passports, and we all plan to reside, so it's not for tourism. So that was how you managed to do it. Excellent. Wow, lucky you, says Iris. We're waiting for our visas, so we don't have to come back. We will be house hunting as soon as we arrive. Did you buy without seeing the place? That's a question for Bob earlier on. Where is that Arganil, Bob? I can't remember. Hi, Louise. We'll have you over as soon as the guest bedrooms are finished. Check it out. The guest wing is happening over there in Fundale. Quick sip of tea. Hold on. Robert Winkle is here. Greetings, from Provence this morning. Watched a lovely film. What's it called? There is, of course. No, it wasn't Provence. It was the Tuscany one. There is, of course, is it A Year in Provence or the Russell Crowe one? Unusual film for him to make. I enjoyed it, I have to say. Yes, and I saw the equivalent film. That's, of course, the Year in Tuscany, or Hollywood always does things in batches like that. I watched the Tuscany one. Thanks to a recommendation from Shelley. Thank you for that, Shelley. We loved it, by the way. Didn't manage to tell you that. Maria Viviana Hernandez Diaz. Can you simply go and live in the Azores? If so, why don't many more people live in those beautiful islands? Well, I think the answer lies in islands. I mean, we spoke to what's his name? The man who makes the wonderful illustrations at that bar in the Azores. Captain, whatever. I'll just call him the captain. We spoke to the captain, the amazing illustrator, the amazing marine conservation. He's so passionate about that. He's got a bar. He's an artist. He's a Renaissance man, and he was telling us about the Azores. I wanted to go and live there, but I think it's a big step, isn't it, to go live on islands in the middle of the Atlantic. It's a long way from Portugal, even though it's an autonomous region of Portugal. It's a long way away, and I think you have to be an island type person. And I think that's a psychological barrier for people. But there are so many reasons to do it. But then I think there is that thing of, the islands. Fifth or Quinta is a farm. The farms were divided when inherited. Cheers, Pete. Is fifth actually Quinta? Yes, I think we've got to the bottom of that. Thank you, Helena, there for your help on that as well. Portugal Property has escrow account. Not sure if investor money is safe. Well, there are lots of people here, Bireshwar Mitra, who have successfully bought. Buyer beware, be careful. Obviously, buying property in a foreign country in a system that you don't understand, but get yourself a good lawyer, should be fine. Was there a British invasion a couple of days ago in the Algarve? Asked Stephen Green. I shared a picture. This is the British invasion. I'll show it to you again. It was a little bit overhyped. I think it's fair to say, Stephen. And this was the car park at Faro Airport, which I'll show to you now. There's your invasion. That was taken by a taxi guy, a transfer guy in the Algarve. The planes with the alleged predicted 5,500 people on didn't really. Well, the planes materialized, but someone said on a Ryanair flight only 26 people yesterday. So a little bit of hype. A little bit of excitement. I got into it myself, talking to Frank about it on Monday. It was an important moment, but it hasn't quite amounted to what you would call an invasion. I think it's a dribble or a trickle, more accurately, because they're isolated. Yeah, there you go. The islands are isolated. 2-hour plane flight to the mainland in Portugal. That's why I think with the Azores, it's great. Go check it out. Go live there for a couple of months. See if you like it. See if you're well adjusted to island life. But that's why. Portugal has the lowest infection rate. We did that one. And so, yes, you would expect it, wouldn't you? You would expect that a lot of countries will be well disposed with what Mark's saying there towards coming to Portugal. Yes, had a fantastic agent who took lots of photos. So Bob did buy from the internet. It needs work, but structurally sound, up in the mountains. Can't wait to see the unpolluted night sky. Now, there's another bonus, right? Being in central Portugal, looking up at the miraculous night sky. No other word for it. Yes, you can live in the Azores, mostly because they are islands and you can be a bit isolated in the winter. You can always depend on a plane to travel. That's what you'll have to do if you need to get off the islands for a little while. Quinta is a fifth in the English translation. I think we're all over that now. Thanks, Antonio, as well. As the Big Onion, the dad jokes are continuing. As the Big Onion said to the Little Onion, that's your lot. Ouch! That makes your eyes water. It is more expensive in the islands than on the mainland, asked Maria. I suspect it is, but we will find out from someone who really knows. Yeah, farm translates the Quinta property, and the fifth translates to Quinto or Quinta, as in rank. Thank you very much, everybody, for your answers on that. That's what this day is all about. Wednesdays, ask anything about Portugal. Sometimes the doc is with me, sometimes Michael Heron. To me, today it's me and you guys. Looking forward to seeing you later. Gareth, WRT, email versus phone. Okay, with respect to email versus phone, we had questions and called Portuguese consulate in Cape Town. She refused to answer questions unless we went to the office, drove 30 minutes away, and was there for 5. Okay, so yes, phone and a visit if you can. Well done. As far as I recall, the price is basically the same, but don't know about properties with the Azores there. Interesting to find out a bit more about the Azores. Thank you for that, Antonio. I haven't seen fifth mention, but we'll find out. Colin, we've done it. We're all over it here, mate. Andy. Hello, Andy. Just back from a fab walk through the countryside, back in time to grab the show. Andy, I'm so sorry we didn't manage to get a beer together, but when I'm back in the Bairrada, booming Bairrada, and maybe I'll come up specifically for the donkey races that you described so beautifully. It sounds hilarious, Andy. Good morning to you. Hope you're well. Puneet Mahajan is here. Hello, sir. Hello to you. Igualmente. Joe K. Quote. Okay, inspirational quotes this morning. Time to take. Shall I try and do this in a Morgan Freeman style? Andy Dufresne. Take the time to learn from the mistakes of others, because we never live long enough to make all the mistakes ourselves. Yes! Oh, that sounds good, Joe. Well done. I can see that on a poster with some mountains in the distance, right? Or somebody standing on the mountains, a silhouette against the sunset. We need to sort of revive those. What were they? Those motivational posters. Were they from Nightingale Conant? Anyone got Nightingale Conant cassettes in their attic? Talking to a mate who went up into the attic to find all his personal development stuff. People used to buy them on cassettes, didn't they? Like a little folder that had, and you think, oh yeah, look, I've got my Nightingale Conant set for this month, and it's got what would it be, like 12 cassettes to listen to. Oh, happy days. Namaskar. Is similar to namaste? Forgive my ignorance there, Puneet, but namaskar to you. I'll be right back at you with that greeting. Carl, unicycle and gold mankini, comedy gold, but also the stuff of nightmares. Yeah, can you imagine coming off that at speed and getting your gold mankini caught up in your pedals? Hi, Puneet Mahajan. Good morning to you. What is from Sam Ward? Good morning, Sam. What is the best way to start if we have decided to move to Portugal and retire? Just found your great show. Cheers, Sam. Thank you for that. Yeah, well, tune in every day. You should join Expats Portugal. Okay, even if I say so myself, a great resource, great value, and you will meet other people. So it's not just us telling you what you should do and making recommendations as an organization. You get the hive mind there. You get the hive mind on the Expats Portugal forum and community. Two things I would say. Come with us for the ride. We'll help you. You can see how helpful the people are in this wonderful community here this morning. And just do it. I mean, talking of motivational quotes, those three words, just do it. Start it. Get started. That journey of 1,000 steps begins with a single one. Pardon the cliche, but it's true. So crack on. Get on with it. Do it. You've made a right decision, a good choice there. For most people, it turns out that way. It would seem, obviously we can't guarantee that, but how are you going to know if you don't try? So I would say get started and join our community. And I'm sure you'll get other advice from the lovely folks here this morning, Sam Ward, but welcome to our community. What is the singular of Portuguese? Is it Portuguese? Very good, Paul. Very good indeed. I've not heard that, and I'm surprised I haven't heard that. I'm going to take that with me into the house when the show's over and try that on the kids, because it's about their level. Paul, cheers, Carl. We're looking for a flat house villa with fiber. Okay, yeah, get somewhere with fiber if you possibly can. I mean, certainly don't believe don't look on the fiber providers websites to give you an idea of whether it's a good signal. Try and get someone on the properties you're ginger with an app to measure, or the owner, to show you documentary proof of an app that shows you the speed, the bit, what they call bit rates, the speed anyway of the broadband, the fiber in that apartment. Insist on it. It's a deal breaker, isn't it? Because if you're going to be a nomad, a digital nomad, if you're going to be working online and that's not working for you, that's going to be a disaster, isn't it? And a very miserable start to your stay. So the proprietors should be able to send you a screenshot, should they not, of them inside, or a photograph of them inside in some way, demonstrating to you the speed of the internet inside that apartment. So fiber for sure, that's your gold standard, and get documentary evidence of how good it is, right? From either another, if you're on Airbnb, you can check with others, can't you, in the reviews. Coffee shop won't work as we need to take calls over VoIP. Okay, so, and we both heard Andy's outside broadcast. Yeah, a coffee being made every 30 seconds, that's going to drive your clients nuts, isn't it? So yes, documentary evidence from the proprietor would be my advice. It is, yes, please, video your new place for us. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's Bob. Bob, are you up for that? Are you up for a video of you arriving or soon after? That would be so amazing. Or just giving us a call on the show that morning when you arrive, or that day. If we could do a link up, it'd be fantastic. If you're open to that, Bob. What are the domestic rubbish arrangements? Different bins and how regular? Stephen, this is I hesitate to call it a dumpster culture, but you'll see what I mean in just a minute. You're never more than a 2-minute walk away from a green dumpster where you can put anything in. I mean, one day I've told you this before, but you know, one collection of bins near one of the houses I lived at, there were like hundreds of wine bottles just left near it. In my country of origin, the council will have gone berserk seeing that and fined somebody or done something or fined everybody else just for that. I opened up the same set of bins one day and I was greeted by a chicken's foot, a recently departed chicken, a bit like the Monty Python parrot sketch. It was departed, deceased, no longer with us. So it was quite a shock to see a chicken's foot sticking out of a bin. Big old rooster it was. So you have to take your own bags of rubbish, garbage, refuse, whatever you call it, down to the green bin. And often at the bigger sites, there will be the various recycling receptacles as well. Whether or not they actually make it, and I'm a bit suspicious about recycling, whether it's a massive PR job and it all ends up in the same place anyway. However, we should encourage this sort of good behaviour, shouldn't we? Yeah, the bigger dumpster kind of gatherings. I don't know what the collective noun is for dumpsters, but you'll never be far away from recycling facilities, that's for sure. And you'll certainly not be very far away from a dumpster where you chuck in your rubbish, as we call it in the UK, and it's collected on a regular basis. It's very, very good in Portugal. And you don't have to worry about putting any old thing in there. It's quite bizarre. I mean, I feel quite guilty. I should have put that in there. Everyone puts anything in there. Also, for building rubbish, what are the skip costs like? Skips, I imagine, are quite expensive. I've never hired one, and you know, I think it would be best to go through a contractor to do that, and that might be part of the contractor's obligation. But actually, people do put building rubble and garden waste and everything in those green bins. It seems that people are quite accepting in Portugal. Probably varies from municipality to municipality, but it's a very forgiving and welcoming place for any kind of garbage. Other dumpsters, the green dumpsters. MIRC is a brand of inter-relay chat. Oh, I see. So it's a bit like having your old what was it called on Hotmail? What was it? What was Microsoft's thing where you used to put ASL in? Age, sex, location. Not in a rude way, but just, you know, finding out someone's gender. Hot chat? What was that thing called? And it wasn't that long ago, was it? How things have moved on. What a fantastic idea. Thanks, Mark. What a fantastic idea to video it. We'll do that. Watch your space. And if you want to do a live on the show, what a brilliant reveal that'll be, Bob. So Bob's into it, everybody. Fantastic. You must be so excited. We're not that brave. Never been to Portugal yet, so we shall be touring first to find our place in the sun. But yeah, Bob, that's great news. Rex Bar, as soon as you come up the hill towards the car parks and tourist office, is on the left. Tourist office on right, just before you go under the viaduct. There's a drive which leads to a big car park. Thank you very much for that, Louise. We're going to have to draw to a close. It's getting towards 10:30, folks. Good morning, Joy. We are being invaded by... Oh, that's a translation, isn't it? A bon dia alegria. We are being invaded by English tourists, says NBA. I hope that they behave well and they comply with the imposed rules. Yeah, if they don't, they will be fined. If you don't wear a mask on your way to the beach or in the restaurants near the beach, you're going to get a 50 to 100 euro fine. I think that's how the Portuguese economy actually is going to be have an injection of cash, it would seem, through the fining of people who aren't wearing masks with their trunks. That's not the law. You don't have to wear a mask because you're wearing trunks. But that is going to be the most bizarre sight of people in bathing costumes and masks on. You know, that is something for the photo albums of the future. What was going on there? Oh yeah, that was the pandemic of 2021. Down on the beach, possibly probably the most hostile environment for a virus ever, in the blazing sun and the fresh air. But we were wearing masks along with our bikinis and budgie smugglers. So NBA, interesting. Okay, so it does feel like an invasion to NBA. The circus school. Oh, to circus school from Joel. Singular and plural in the lazy English language, Spanish, Italian, and other Latin languages. There is plural. Taking that joke seriously, possibly too seriously. There, on my way, Pete, says Gary. Expats Portugal. You have the markets from Salinate, Mercados Municipais, and they are every day. But you have the feiras and those are once a week. Oh, okay. So the municipal markets are every day. Fetish are the once a week ones, once every other week perhaps. It depends on the place, and they sell everything. That's fantastic to know. Let's get through these comments because there are many of them. Okay, folks, I'd be grateful if you could stop asking questions now. I don't mean to be rude, but I suspect we need to get on with our lives as well, don't we? Or I mean, this is our lives, I know, but I'm getting a bit concerned about the amount of comments and questions. Not in a bad way. I love you. I love your comments and questions, but it's 20 past 10, folks. Gareth McCumsky, we considered initially to live in Malta. Malta is a great word in Portuguese, actually. But yes, the country of Malta, until we investigated what living on an island is like and changed our minds. Interesting. Susan Renshaw, anyone traveling to UK from Portugal, antigen test needed in the 3 days prior to departure. SynLab in Lisbon Airport was €30. Good. This is good info. Thanks, Susan. Ordered my day 2 test in UK with Dan Taylor at 58 quid. Was pleasantly surprised. It didn't cost a fortune. Nice one. Rubbish garbage collection from Paul and Louise. In city, town, or rural. We are rural, so it depends, they're saying. We have a village communal rubbish bins plus an eco point, glass, plastic, metal, paper, cardboard. So there you go. Hey, Carl from California, this just in. US government let us travel out. We can come back, but we have to have a negative test. Wondering when Portuguese government will let Americans in. Oh, okay. So it's the EU and not the Americans. I do beg your pardon. Carl, take your question. When you go down the list of comments, do you mark them off? No. I don't. The best way for me to do it is chronologically, because that way somebody who asked a question at 9:30, which I think we're only just getting to, gets a fair crack of the whip. But it's quite a thing. And I forgot to say today, I probably should prioritize questions. So put question rather than if you're just talking to each other, which I love, but I don't want to be reading those out necessarily, do I? Especially if you've struck up a relationship and you're saying hello to Smoofykins in the comments there. We don't need to share that publicly, do we? Not that I've got anything against affection and people starting relationships. In fact, I'd love to buy a hat for the first Good Morning Portugal wedding. But this is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday, and not discuss your love life in the comments. And I'm not accusing you, Gary and Pete of doing that. Your local town will probably have a large eco centre for your building waste. There you go. Question. Is Portugal requiring vaccinated Brits to quarantine? I don't think so. Motivational quotes from Hank. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Yes, there you go. People pleasers and overgivers. Excellent advice from Hank. Good show, Carl. Thank you. My first participation. Look forward to remaining in touch. Excellent, Eric Bro. I don't think we answered your question, though, but take it to the forum if you don't get an answer this morning. And thank you for your kind comments there. We learn from our mistakes. Can I please stop learning? Says Ian. Let's have a look. Regarding building waste from Antonio, always good for an answer or two on a Wednesday. You'll have to rent a proper building waste container and place it in front of the construction site. There you go. That's the right way to do it. Peter Thompson, I remember him. Peter Thompson and Nightingale. Was that the Achiever's Edge or something that he used to do? Old Peter Thompson, what a guy. People coming from the UK just need a PCR test from Antonio to Hank there. If we're doing Shawshank quotes, get busy living or get busy dying, Andy Dufresne. Get busy living or get busy dying. That's about some what's the right word for that? Some poignant words there for expats and retarees. Get busy living, folks. Don't talk to me about skips. Oh, here we go, past pain. I required over 20 during our building project at £250 each. My goodness, I don't condone it, but it's no wonder people fly tip when it's as difficult as that, right? I mean, you'd think people need rubble, don't they? Hardcore and stuff like that. You'd think we'd have some elegant systems, which they probably do in Germany, to be fair, and other countries. Been missing you guys, says Susan Casola. Good morning, Susan. Been van shopping, found one. Oh, do share. Starting to semi-camperize it for my road trip to Portugal. Camperization. There. Small cities, 30,000 and below, will have good broadband speeds. There's a nice guide for you, Jordinja. And Catarina Valente, good morning. You can't do a NIF walk-in appointments anymore. And on the phone line to make an appointment, it's automated in Portuguese. Is that so? Nowhere can you do a NIF in person anymore. I heard it's possible to make an appointment by email. Do you know what the email address is to do that, please? I can't find anything online. I think some offices will be doing a NIF in Portugal. Surely. Don't mean to call you Shirley, Katerina. But We need some answers on this NIF thing. Mrs. Circuit School and myself also bought our Portuguese property without seeing it. We need to do some work on it, but that's what we wanted. I'm coming over next week to see it for the first time. Paul, please video or give me a buzz and we'll do it on the show. The big reveal on the Good Morning Portugal show. Are you up for that? What's about summer camps for children in Portugal? They do exist. Yeah. Do they accept foreign children who do not speak Portuguese? Yes. But I mean, there's only one thing worse than being sent to summer camp. That's being sent to summer camp and not being able to speak the language that all the other kids are speaking, Milda. Just joking. Or am I speaking from my own past pain? Or just watching American movies where people get sent to summer camps and awkward things happen. I think they're quite international, to be fair, Milda, but don't have a lot of experience. Take that to the forum. Thanks, Carl. Proof of connection is a great idea. My pleasure. How do I say this? Phil else, I'm going to go with, my test seems to be around 120 from what I've seen. So there you go. Some good info there from Susan on that. That's really helpful and really good. That little bit of intel from Susan there on the testing. Susan Renshaw. Okay, where are we? They keep slipping away from the end of the comments. Tony Hood's here. They are traveling north. We have had one in our garden. Great to watch as we first noticed them in France. Are they the fireflies traveling north or the moths that we're talking about there? Hi, Phil. Go to gov.uk website and there is a link to approved test labs. Lots around 60 quid. Day 2 test only. There you go. Masks are required until reaching the beach, not in it, says Antonio F. Yeah, absolutely. And you will get fined if you are not wearing it on your approach. But there's still social distancing on the beach as well, isn't it? So, which will also look interesting in the photo albums of the future. Not that anyone has photo albums, of course. It will be on the screen, won't it? Through your Google dongle thing, whatever people look at photos on these days. But people will look at photos from 2021, our summer holiday. Why is everyone sitting like that? Like, why is there a policeman measuring the distance between you? Okay, I Googled, says Hank, lost medieval servant boy. The result was this page cannot be found. Yes, that's a good one. That is excellent, Hank. And I think, dad joke du jour, Gary Austin, will like that as well. And I think other people will be serving that up today as though they said it themselves or thought of it themselves. That's fantastic, Hank. And I think, unless I've missed out a massive swathe of comments and questions, which I hope I haven't, that brings us to quite a good conclusion this morning. Thank you so much. That was a really good session. We had inspirational quotes in there. We had lots of questions, lots of great answers, lots of new people this morning, and some great advice. So thank you all so much. Do love a Wednesday. Do love a hump day. It's a hump and a jump. We are in the hump of the week, and you jump in with anything you want to ask about Portugal. And we did it proud today. You did it proud today. So thank you all so much. Teja, have a great day. Bon dia to you. And we will be, we'll be tomorrow evening's webinar, which I meant to put the slide up on the screen, but it's just landed. And we have 3 households, 2 from the US. Excuse me, just 1 minute. 2 from the US, been talking for 90 minutes, and 1 from the UK, talking of their experience of being freshly landed here in Portugal. How cool is that? These lovely people. I mean, they're busy people here enjoying life in Portugal, and they're going to be with us to talk about their experience, to answer your questions about how they got here, what it's like being here. 2 households from US, 1 from UK, here to introduce themselves and answer your questions. Wine club afterwards, a fine red from the Bairrada, the aforementioned Bairrada. And tomorrow morning's show, we have Chitra Stern from Martinhal with us. Looking forward to talking to her about her wonderful life here in Portugal and all that she's done in the Portuguese business scene. Her story of amazing entrepreneurship here in Portugal. Take care, folks. Have a great day. And I'll say bye for now. Ciao, te logo. Ciao, ciao.